Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Eliana and I'm the Senior Recruitment Officer for the University of Richmond. And with me is Dr. Rekret, who is the Program Director and Professor of Politics. So let me share my presentation. So now you should see my screen, right?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So thank you so much for coming to our presentation today. Sorry about this technical issue. So first of all, I would like to tell you guys that if you want to send a message, there is a question box where you can send all the questions that you have during the presentation, and we will answer all the questions in the end of the webinar. If you have any technical issues, please do let us know so we can fix it on the background. So what we will cover today is what an international relations MA can offer you, why Richmond, what is special about Richmond, our international relations program, and then we will go into some practical details, and in the end we will have a Q&A session. So the program is designed to address issues that exist in our society, such as human rights, poverty, security, war, diplomatic politics, and more, and the influence they have. It will help you to further your career in the world of government, humanitarian work, diplomacy, policy formation, human rights, and security services. So London is the best place to be since there are so many government institutions and companies based here. So Richmond is the only American university and the only university that awards 2 degrees, American and British, and we are based, as I mentioned, in London. We follow the American system, which is the liberal arts, and all our students get 2 degrees, which is an advantage since you will complete the degree in 1 year instead of 2 years like it is in US or in Europe. We have a very international, we are a very international university. So in master level, we have around 250 students, which 80% of them are not from the UK. We are a small university with small class sizes. So in a class of 15 or 11 might be from different countries. This means that you get a lot of support and support that you are going to need throughout the year from the academics. You will have a minimum of 9 contact hours plus extra hours in events and seminars you will attend. So you will have your own personal academic advisor who will help you with academic side of things. Picking internship, for example, helping you picking internship and making suggestions. Electives as well, also assist you with your final project. As a Richmond graduate, you will join our alumni network of 15,000 from all over the world, 140 countries, and it is a great resource for you to utilize either for a job, for example, or an internship. And also we have a 93% of employment rates. This means that 93% of our students find work after 6 months of their graduation. And but why London? London is it's a fascinating city. So there are so many things to do and see and experience in London. And especially for someone who wants to study international relations, where so many companies, and it's a global hub for think tanks, charities, NGOs, policy advisors and makers, and security services. So it has consistently voted world's number 1 international student city. So there are approximately 270 nationalities living in London and 300 languages. So it's a social, cultural, and political capital city. So no matter what you're going to study, you always find things to do in London, like visit companies, for example, or museums, cafes, restaurants, and it's one of the most fascinating and global cities in the world. And now I will pass you on to Paul to go through the MA International Relations.
Thanks, Eliana. What I'm going to try and sort of talk to you all about for a few minutes in any event is how we kind of approach the study and practice of international relations. And in particular on our MA degree, we're really focused on what we think of as bridging the theoretical and the practical. And we think that that's really important. One of the ways we do that is through our internship program, which I'll talk about. Our research community, which we would hope all of our graduate students become a part of, active members of, which I'll also discuss. I'll talk about class sizes as well, and sort of more practical elements of what that means in terms of your day-to-day learning and your sort of experience throughout your year, or perhaps 2 years if you're studying part-time here at Richmond. So if we could move on to the next slide, please, Eliana. Thank you. So this outlines generally the sort of structure of the program. And the program's structured in a way that you have 3 core courses or modules, what you might call in the British system. So there's a course in theories and concepts of international relations, a course which was really a course about giving you the foundations of the discipline. What are the key sort of approaches that we're using to understand this incredibly complex world, this world that none of us can kind of grasp in a given sitting, that none of us can put in a laboratory and sort of experiment with, and that exceeds all of us, but we're all experiencing as individuals, as citizens, as migrants throughout our day-to-day lives. And then in the core course in global poverty and security, we're sort of taking those frameworks and using them to understand what we see as the burning issues of global politics today. Global inequality, development, climate change, security challenges, and what even we understand by a security challenge. For instance, in recent years and decades, the crisis of migration has been what we would call securitized, has been made a security issue, a border issue, a police issue. So we're really using those to using those frameworks to understand those core issues. And then, of course, in research methods, where you're learning sort of methods that you're going to prepare you to conduct your own independent research project, your own dissertation, and also in terms of going back to this theme of the practical, perhaps also methods that people working on the ground in, for instance, humanitarian intervention and security might be employing in their own work as researchers and as scholars, for instance, project assessments, environmental impact assessments, and other forms of methods that might be used on a day-to-day basis. So there's a kind of scholarly, conceptual, and theoretical core to the program. And then there are a series of optional courses. You can see quite a long list there. You would choose 3 of them, from politics of the global south to NGO project management, security and insecurities, global environmental politics, diplomacy, human rights, and many others. And I should note that because we're a small program and we take a small number of students every year, we're not able to offer all of those optional courses. We would have 1 or 2 of you in each class, and trust me, you don't want to be sort of alone in a classroom for a whole semester. It can be a bit tedious. So what we do is collectively, I would sit down with students, and students will choose what optional courses we're going to offer, and we'll offer a selection of, say, 3, 4, or 5 in a given semester. They tend to be the course in diplomacy and human rights, in international relations and the media, conflict and post-conflict studies, and NGO project management. Those tend to be our most popular, but that's something that would be up to you as a sort of student entering the program and choosing the optional courses for the next semester. And I don't want to speak about this for too long, but I promised you I'd talk a little bit more about the theoretical and the practical, and that's really where that comes in the optional courses. For example, in a course like Human Rights and Global Politics, you're going to ask those sort of deep foundational questions about what is a right, who has rights, are rights universal? Do they apply to all cultures and peoples in the same way? Or is there a colonial heritage given these rights originated in modern Europe? So we ask the big philosophical questions, but we also ask the practical questions. How does the human rights monitoring process actually work? How do countries report to the United Nations Commissioner on Human Rights, for example? How do charities and NGOs, non-governmental organizations, actually report on human rights? And you might have visits to local or regional organizations like Amnesty International. You might actually write your own human rights report in the style of an NGO. You might, for instance, in a course like conflict and post-conflict studies, ask the big questions about what is conflict, how does human conflict even occur, but also the more practical element of, for example, how to manage a humanitarian intervention or a conflict or post-conflict intervention. So across our courses, we're trying to give you that deep, rigorous, scholarly foundation to your study, but also really understanding and being prepared to enter on the ground and understand and have the skills to sort of start running as soon as you start your first post, whatever field that might be. Then in your final semester, you'll write your own dissertation that's managing your own research project. You'll work closely with a faculty advisor. Your sort of faculty advisor is there every step of the way through the process with you, but it really is your independent project to manage, to decide what you're studying, how you're studying, the sort of directions you're taking your research, but we will be there to support you. You'll have a writing center, a postgraduate writing center that's there to support you. You'll have special librarians that are there to support your postgraduate projects. And as I said, the faculty advisor, but it is your project. And we'll talk a little bit more about our internship program in a minute, but you do have the option of completing an internship in your final semester at the same time as you're writing your dissertation, and students who do that then write a much shorter dissertation. So your sort of distribution of work is slightly different. So that's the kind of way the program's structured. And if we could move on to the next slide, please, Eliana. I said I'd talk a little bit more about internships. We think those are really crucial for you, not only in terms of developing contacts, in terms of developing opportunities and gaining confidence, as is highlighted there, but one of the key things for us is working with your faculty advisor to determine what the most appropriate internship is for you, depending on your own professional and career goals. What are the skills? What are the experiences that are necessary for you to gain in order to really be prepared to get that role that you sort of dream of? And often students come to me and they say, well, I want to intern at the United Nations, or I want to intern at the European Union. And my response is always, well, hold on. What's your dream job? What's the actual role that you want to be doing? And what are the skills that people in that role need to have? And it might not necessarily be that working at the United Nations or interning at the United Nations is going to give you those skills. It might be far more important for you to work at a small local organization which is going to give you a high level of responsibility and is going to allow you to acquire the skills and experiences that are actually required for you to gain the person, or to gain the skills that hiring managers in a very competitive labor market are really looking for. That's not to say that I would discourage you necessarily from interning at the United Nations, but what I am trying to say is you need to think, or your faculty advisor and the careers office and internship office would work closely with you to tailor your internship depending on your own aims and goals. And we do have a wide range of partners that we've been working with to place interns for a long time: Refugee Rights Europe, the Club of Three, which is a cultural diplomacy organization working with key elite people in the cultural sectors of of societies that are in conflict, the Global Peace Foundation. Some people end up interning with members of parliament in the House of Commons here in Britain, or in US Congress, or in the many diplomatic missions that surround our Kensington facility. So there are a lot of options. There are also some organizations that are actually based at the university. We have the Center for the Analysis of the Radical Right, which is the world's premier think tank for the study of the rise of the far right. There is Professors Without Borders, which is an NGO that was started by former faculty and students on international relations. They work around the world to bring access to higher education to parts of the world that might not necessarily have access to it in sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia and other places. So there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of partners that we have a long experience of placing interns with, and we'd be there to support you every step of the way. If we could keep going, please, Eliana, thank you. One of the other things that I think is quite exciting about our program, and one of the things I'm really proud of, is the kind of experiences, the kind of putting your learning into practice that we've been doing for a long time. Now, obviously, COVID interrupted that in the recent past, but we're hoping to bring that back online as soon as possible, and perhaps even for example, this spring. But of course, we have to work within government regulations. But so this means that students have often been invited by professors to, for instance, accompany them on research trips. For 2 years running before COVID, a group of students, MA students, accompanied one of my colleagues who was doing research on women's rights and labor to Cuba, where she'd been doing the majority of her work, and accompanied her to meet research collaborators, colleagues, had various tours and presentations across Cuba. A group of students joined me to an international symposium of Richmond Fellows in Rome, and we had a pretty amazing time having presentations and workshops with scholars working on security, gender, policing, and other themes. We also had scholars working on contemporary and historical fascism in Rome, and that was a really amazing week. In other courses, students visit the NATO headquarters, the European Union headquarters in Brussels, or the International Criminal Court in The Hague. And these are extracurricular activities, so you don't necessarily have to attend them. You're not expected to, but rather I think they're indicative of something that's quite, I think, special about our program, our department, and our university, which is it's small. The classes are small. Students develop close working relationships with professors, and I think that's what really stands out about this. And these kinds of international experiences, which hopefully you'll have an opportunity to participate in, I think are really reflective of that. If we could keep going. The other thing that I think is quite reflective of that is we really hope that and that you as graduate students would become members of our research community. Our master's program is attached to our research center for the study of the state, power, and globalization, and we hold various workshops, conferences, and symposia. The list there is a little bit out of date, and hopefully we'll get a more up-to-date list for you there, but if you have a look on our website, you can see a list of more recent events that we've held, but the similar sort of themes from gender, human rights, the European Union, conflict resolution. And one of the ones, you can also see a sort of list of or images of recent books that faculty have published on the program. So there's a real active kind of research culture happening as part of the program. And we really do hope that students will attend. Actually, in the fall, we've got a series of workshops on working in the NGO sector and practices in the NGO sector and development that look really exciting, with alumni and experts in the field that are going to be coming and speaking to scholars and students. One of the things I'd point out to you is the last talk on that list is Policing the Arab Carceral City, and that was by Bruce Stanley and Hattie Field. And Bruce Stanley is a professor of conflict studies here at Richmond. And Hattie Field was a student in the program. And she ended up working with Professor Stanley, publishing that paper with Professor Stanley, and it was presented in a few places around the world. And I think that's actually quite common here. Because we see RMA students as members of our research community, students often end up working together with faculty members. Again, this is nothing I can promise to you, but rather it's sort of reflective of the culture of the institution. And in fact, I think I have 3 or 4 MA students that are currently working on a peace studies research project with one of my colleagues that they're looking at different regions around the world. I think I'm getting to the end of my bit here. I can't remember. Right. So I'll introduce you a little bit to some of my colleagues. Professor Michael Keating, who's our head of department and teaches courses in political economy. Dr. Eunice Goes, who teaches the course in international relations in the media and who also happened to be a former BBC journalist herself. And you can often see her on BBC News commenting on current events. Dr. Candida Purnell, who teaches the course in securities and insecurities and just published a book on the politics of the security of bodies in the present. I'm a political theorist writing on various questions in political and international theory from modernity to the present. Dr. Rafal Saborski works on environmental politics and populism, and Dr. Noga Glucksum, who teaches the course in counterterrorism and also works in peace studies. So they're a sample, they're the kind of members of the core members of faculty that would teach you amongst others. And as I said, you'd get to know them quite well given the small size of your classes and the close professional working relationship faculty have with students on our program. I'm gonna keep going. I think that's it for me. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so we have, so all the master students will be based in our campus in Kensington. So we have 2 campuses as a university, one in Richmond, which is the home for undergraduate students, and Kensington for master students. So it is located in the heart of London. It's 10 minutes by train from the Westminster. And there are a lot of institutions and cultural institutions around the campus, such as the British Museum, for example, the Albert Hall and Victoria, Victoria and Albert Museums, Kensington Palace, which make the area really, really safe. There are a lot of there is the Kensington High Street, where there are a lot of restaurants and cafes and shops. So it's a very vibrant area as well. And yeah, it's pretty impressive area to study. And then the program, we have 2 intakes, one in September and one in January. Also, the duration of the program is 1 year or 18 months, full-time, or 2 years part-time. And as I mentioned, the location is in Kensington. So what we will need for you is a direct online application form. You have to complete a personal statement, where in the personal statement you need to talk a little bit about yourself, about the program that you're choosing, and why and how the program will help you with your future aspiration, and a CV. Also, we will need a proof of your bachelor degree with all the transcripts from all the years that you have studied. And also, for those who their English is not their first language, we will need an English language test certificate. We accept IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge, and Pearson. The next intake is September 2021 and January 2022. So for those who want to apply for September 2021, applications are still open. For those who require a visa to come to London, you need to send the application by the end of July, as soon as possible, if I would say. The tuition fees for UK students are 9,000, and for international US and EU students are 13,215. So we give scholarships to EU students, which are around 4,000, and to MA, and for the MBA is 3,000. For the rest of, for international students, they vary from 15 to 20% of the fees based on your transcript from your bachelor. Yes, so, and for alumni, we have the Alumni Award, which is 20% of the fees. So, I mean, we understand that the pandemic has created uncertainty in education. So the British government they're expecting to open up in on 19th of July. We have the government guidance is that we will commence our classes face-to-face this September, and to be honest, we are very much looking forward for that, to meet all of our students and staff on campus. Of course, we always follow the government guidance regarding the COVID-19. So if you have, please write down your questions. We will answer them immediately. So if you have any questions in the future, though, and you want to find out about any other thing that you are interested, so you can send an email to inquiries@richmond.ac.uk. Myself and my colleagues will answer this email, and you can of course send to Dr. Paul directly, which is recretp@richmond.ac.uk. I mean, you can take a picture of these slides as well. Also, you can follow us on social media. We're quite active on that, so we answer almost immediately. Yeah, so now we are, we will answer the questions. So let's see. So we have one question from Leslie, and she's saying that I heard that Kensington facility is closing in 2022. No, we are not closing Kensington. So Kensington is our campus for postgraduate students, for master students. So yes, we are, I mean, you will be based in Kensington. So we have another question from Israel. So Israel is asking, what does housing look like for MA students? So we do not have housing for MA students. However, we do have providers that we work with, and our accommodation officer will help you to find the best accommodation for you for that. And Farah, yes, you can open the microphone and ask if you would like. Yeah, there is an icon. There is an icon where you can click, and you can hold on, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for this really helpful presentation. The first thing I want to ask is about, you mentioned a foundation year. So do we have to take a foundation year? Is there a foundation year for MA?
No, there is no foundation year for MA program. So you go directly to the first 1 year program.
Okay,
or
that's great.
2 years if it is part-time.
Okay.
But no.
And another question, according to the IELTS and TOEFL, is there a specific score that I have to achieve in order to register?
For IELTS, we will need 6.0 in each component, no lower than that.
Okay, and what about the TOEFL?
TOEFL, I think it's 72 overall.
72. Okay.
I'll send
and
you
another question
about that.
Yes, okay, all right. Do I have to be studying a specific major to enter the university? Like, for example, currently, it's my last year. It's actually my last semester studying applied linguistics at the University of Jordan. So, do I have to study, or to be studying a specific major to enter the university, or to study this, to complete this major in MA, which is International Relations?
I think,
yeah, shall I answer that? Thanks.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for your question. You don't have to have studied a particular major to start the program. So, of course, we welcome students who have a bachelor's degree in international relations or political science or politics, but we don't expect it. And part of the design, especially of your first semester, is to introduce students to the study of the discipline. So all that means is for students who don't have a background in international relations, it's a lot more to learn in the first few weeks, but very quickly we find everybody sort of getting at the same page or getting at the same level, not unlike learning a new language. Some people might
Yes,
have a little bit of a vocabulary to start with, but no. So the short answer is we very much like our students to come with a variety of backgrounds. And that means Eliana talked about the international nature of our student body, which is very important to us. And we also like our students entering with various experiences. Some of you might have work experience in different sectors and different parts of the world, and different educational experiences. And all of that, I think, really enriches the classroom. And so we welcome all of you and all of your variety of backgrounds.
yes, thank you. And another question, do I have to get a specific GPA to enter the university?
Sorry, could you repeat
Like
the question?
from my bachelor's degree GPA.
Yes, so the GPA needs to be around 2.5.
Okay, that's good. And the last question, according
the higher the better the scholarship.
Yes, I got it. And the last question, while you shared the PowerPoint in the scholarships slide.
Yes.
Okay, so there's something, it's Master's Excellence Award. So does this apply to international students?
Yes, let me share again the
yes, please.
The master. Sorry, the
PowerPoint.
Yeah, 1 second. So for international,
yes,
is the Master Excellence Award. So you need to have 3.7 GPA in order for you to get
in BA.
In a BA, yes.
Okay, yes, that's perfect. Okay.
Or you can have 3.3 GPA and you can get 15%.
Okay, all right. And do I get this discount when I register?
So as soon as
I apply, after applying and after I get the acceptance?
You don't need to apply for our scholarships. So
for the scholarship. Okay.
As soon as we get the transcript from your university, your final, then we will see what will be your GPA, and we will award you with, the accord. I mean, the amount of 15%. We will see where do you belong, and then we will send you an email. Have been awarded this scholarship.
Okay, and my last question is that I will be finishing university in December 2020, 2021. Okay, so and I want to enter or to start my MA degree in September. Okay, so when I apply, do I have to apply in January 2022, right?
Yes, you can apply. I mean, we will also for fall 2022 in October.
Mhm.
So you
In
can
October.
apply. Yeah, you can apply in October if you would like, or in January.
Okay, but I have a problem. Is that you need, when I apply, you need like a specific, no, you need the BA certificate, right? Or my grades.
Not
And
from the
by
beginning.
October,
From the beginning,
excuse me.
you can provide us with a copy of your passport, with personal statements, your CV, and then we will send you, you know, an offer based on your transcript, English language test, and the interview. So you are going to have an interview first with Paul. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
when you pass the interview, then we will send you the offer.
okay, and so what I can do now, I don't know if this is now or in October. As I said, I'm going to start my degree in September 2022. So can I now send my my marks till now?
I can send you an email. You can
My
send them.
grades.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
right?
but I'm planning to do the TOEFL and or the IELTS. I haven't decided yet, but I'm planning to do them like before entering the university. Like I'm not planning to do them now. So can I send my my passport and a copy of my passport and my grades, but till this semester? Because I still have one semester left.
What usually tell to the students is best if they apply first, the application, and then the documents. Because we
okay, I have already applied, but you have sent me an email that I should send my like my documents in order to complete my registration or my application.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, so what I do now is send you my grades till now and a copy of my passport, right?
Yes. Yes, that will be correct.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's see other questions. So we have a question: will graduating in 1994 will be with a BA in IR be hindrance? Paul?
Absolutely not. We're, like I said, I mean, part of the diversity that we like to have amongst our students is a diversity of experiences. So whether you have just completed your undergraduate degree, or you have completed it some years ago and gained experience in various fields, or are looking to upskill or make a change in your career, we really like having that diversity of experiences as well, and we want to consider every application on the basis of its own merits. And we will consider the experiences that you have as really valuable and important. And in my experience as a teacher, I think that it's often been the kind of mix of people with various experiences, people just coming out of BA or undergraduate degrees versus those who have been doing them, completed them some time ago, that really enrich the classroom. So I would encourage you to apply and say that we would really value the experience that you would bring to the classroom and to classroom discussion.
Yeah, so Leslie has 20 years of applied international relations at the professional level. So yes, he will be a valuable member of the team.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something, you know, that's quite reflective of our classes as they stand, where some people are, as I say, a bit diversity of people from different cultures, different ages, levels of experience, and so on. Yeah.
So we have another question from Elizabeth. So if I'm going to take my master, is there any requirements to have work experience in a field related to international relations? And how long is that? Or it's not really necessary? Thank you.
Again, I guess I'll take that one again. No, so that's not a requirement either. Part of the design of the program is for people who have just completed their bachelor's degree to attain work experience through our internship program, or perhaps even volunteering throughout your degree with one of our partner organizations. A lot of my students have been volunteering with Professors Without Borders and doing some research for them over the summer, for instance. So there's kind of two, if you like, there's two streams that you can take. On the one hand, for people with a great deal of experience, you can really focus, write a longer dissertation, and really develop your research skills. And really perhaps, you know, especially other people who might want to be heading towards a PhD after their MA, it would be not to complete the internship, but rather to sort of focus on that side of things. On the other hand, for people who are perhaps just coming out of bachelor degree or really looking to gain experience in this area, then that's where the internship program comes in, and writing the shorter dissertation and gaining experience through the internship. I should say that part of the internship that again reflects our sort of culture of mixing the theoretical and the practical, you're not just going to go off and make coffee somewhere. You'll have an internship supervisor who's going to visit your employment. You're going to report to them regularly, depending on how many days a week you're working at your internship. And we're going to ensure that you're getting the experience that you deserve as someone who's sort of also committed to the organization they're working at and contributing to their work. So you'll have someone working alongside of you. And at the end of your internship, you'll work with a faculty advisor to also write a research paper that allows you to reflect on your internship experience and how it might challenge or inform some of your coursework. So for example, if you worked for a women's charity working on women's violence in Latin America, for example, how has your experience in that charity and working with women or working with survivors, for example, how does that challenge or perhaps reflect some of the themes that you've studied on gender and security or gender and violence or gender and human rights in one of your classes? It might be that actually your on the ground experience is very different from what you read in a textbook or from scholars' reports. And so I think there's a really exciting opportunity there for you to use your experience to challenge and to question what you've learned in the classroom and vice versa. So that's, again, just to highlight that sort of element of intersecting the theoretical and the practical, and also to say that we're not just going to leave you on your own for the internship, not unlike the research project. You will have someone working with you and sort of advising and supervising your work every step of the way in both cases.
So we have another question from Alina. She's asking, where can I find out more about financial scheme for the MA studies? Alina, will say everything is on website. However, I will send you a link when you can read and find out more information. So I'll do it when we finish with the webinar. Any other questions? As I said in the beginning, please do email us at inquiries@richmond.ac.uk if you have any questions in the future, or in my email, which is pilintsi@richmond.ac.uk. I mean, I'm sure that you might have a question in the future, and so don't worry, we are here for you to we are here to help you and answer. And you can contact Paul as well.
Yeah, I'm very happy if anybody has questions about the study of international relations or particular things about the degree program itself, don't hesitate to email me. You had my email there. You can also find it just Googling me or finding on the university website.
We have a question from Theba, which is, Theba, since you are 17, I think you first need to finish your undergraduate, your bachelor degree, in order for you to do a master, or so you still have some times to join us in a master level. But we have international relations bachelor, if you would like to consider that. I can send you a few information for the program. Any other questions? If we do not have any other questions, then I think we would like to finish our webinar here. But please, if you have any question in the future, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you so much for attending our webinar today. It has been a delight. And so, as I mentioned, please, for those who want to apply for September 2021, the applications are still open until the end of July. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are.